step 2. So we already established that step 1 is lateral flexion. You can't get step 2 without step 1. So if you start here by, and this will actually help his lateral flexion. I'm going to show you in a minute. See how he's distracted, he's looking everywhere. Starts to soften, but the idea comes slowly. So then step 2 is, can you slide your inside leg back and get his hips to step away? Right like that. You see how his right hind leg is stepping up and underneath his center of gravity, and he's almost digging a hole with his front foot there. Then I'll take my leg off and wait for him to soften. There we go. Try again. There's 3 steps. Flex, leg, actually 4 steps. Right there, if he falls asleep a little, you can roll your spur up or tap with your stick. Leg off is step 3. Wait for softness is step 4. Pretty nice. Let's check the other side. Flex to the left. Now if he wants to move off before I put my leg on, we're just going to flex around and wait for him to stop his feet again and start from the beginning. Step 2, leg back. Good. Leg off. And he stayed soft. Disengaging couldn't be simpler than that. And if you watch what he's doing, his nose is pointed to the right, his hips move to the left. That's why it's disengaging. His motor, the part back here that pushes off, is heading the opposite direction of travel. Then you relax and wait for him to soften. There he goes. His right side is a little bit the stiffer side, and you'll find that's often the case for a lot of horses. You know, if you think about it, we mainly handle them from the left side. We get them to look at us from the left. We get them soft all the time from the left. The right's kind of usually the neglected side. Then slide leg back. Leg off. And he stayed soft. Very nice. Step 2. 1 and 2 kind of work together, and you see where you get when you do release your horse all the way. He's really content to just stand there on a loose rein, kind of think about life. And then you see he picks his head up, starts looking around again, gets distracted. That's our cue that we can kind of go back to work. Now, in the 1950s, they did their disengage a little different because they wanted some contact with their horses. So they'd still have them say, look to the right, but they'd keep a lot of straightness in their neck. And they'd almost want their horse to be, you know, this is more of that traditional turn on the forehand. You're like holding the front feet in place and moving that hip off. And this is really actually a nice thing for teaching your horse a little hip control to get ready for the lead change. But when we're working with green and young horses, it's much easier to get that pivot on the front end if you have a bigger bend in their neck like this. So the way to do that 1950s one correctly is, or the straight disengage, is you hold that front end in place, slide your, say, right leg back in this case, and you're looking just to see if their inside eye and inside ear are with you. It's likewise the other direction. There we go. And you see how straight that his body stays when he does that? You know, you'll see a lot of other horse trainers do it that way. And that's good for creating an out-of-the-box straight horse. But what we're looking for is a horse that's flexible and yields all his body parts independently and softly. So we want to get that full bend in our disengage so we create our yoga master horses, basically. And it just creates a nicer little product. You get a lot more supple horse at the end of it. So there you go, 2 ways to do step 2.